All right, so today we are going to change the front tie rods on the Cayman. We got it up in there. We're going to let it back down though before we start. And I'm going to show you how to line this car with a string. Not only string, but essentially with fishing line. And I've done so many cars like this. This thing was almost full when I got it. It's probably been 4 years ago I got this. I don't know how many BMWs have done. We never had a problem. They always drove perfect. Never wore a tire. I did it to the big Sequoia a couple years ago. And then not long after that, I got a line at the dealership and they said it was right on. So essentially we're going to be setting tow in this car. Now, what we need to do, since this car has staggered wheels, I'm pretty sure they're only staggered in, not out. If you have a car that staggers the wheels out on the back, this isn't going to work, right? Essentially what we're going to do is square the rear tires to the front tires. Now, before you start, you look up and see what the tow specs for the car is. Usually it's in mil or percentage how much is supposed to be towed out or whatever that car calls for. Okay, so in this car, the front camber is 0.3 to 0.7 degrees. That's camber. So that's your front wheels tilting in like this, right? We have the tow setting is 0 to 0.08. So essentially it's 0. And then we have the total tow is 0 to 0.17. Steer head is 0.05 to 0.95. Rear camber is 0.8 to 0.18. So it's a little more rear camber than front. And then tow on the rear is also 0 to 0.17 degrees. So essentially we're gonna be going for 0. We might just go a tiny, like a millimeter towed out. So essentially will be maybe a millimeter towed out. And what that's gonna do, that's gonna make the wheel really stable. If you set it at 0, it'll steer the easiest, which may not be a good thing at high speed, to be totally honest with you. So let's go ahead and string it. We'll get the string set up. We'll be right back. Okay, now the string method is not going to work on this car. Actually, if we had wheel spacers on this car, this would still work. Well, not. I'm looking down at it right now. I'm looking to see. Yeah. No, it's staggered on the back more. It's staggered on the back more. You can see, you can't see it's good there, but you can really see it here on how much it's away from the tire. And it's actually hitting the rim. These rims keep you from doing it. You could probably bypass that if you turn the wheel just right. It's hitting the wheel, not the tire. You're looking for the equal distance from here, from the string to the back. But also this bumper sticks out past the tire, and that back fender sticks out past the tire. So the string method's not going to work. That's okay though. That was our first line of defense here. We took it apart to see what's even going on. So let's go. We're going to do the second method, which is going to be the tape measure method. Okay, so here we have the one we just took off the driver's side, which that one wasn't bad. But why do we do in the driver's side when it's not bad? Because you never freaking do just one. You always do both sides, right? We have our Delphi Technologies tie rod links here. They're both the same. There's no left, there's no right. That makes it really easy. Now, if we go over here, we'll grab the light and we'll show you what we did. All we did was take the 18 mil nut off the top of the tie rod. The tie rod goes right there, right? And instead of taking that all the way off, you leave it on there. You just loosen it, 6-7 turns, and then you could bash this with a hammer if you don't have a pickle fork. If you have a pickle fork, which I do, it always ruins the boots, so I don't like to use them, makes a big mess. Once you bash that off of there, the trick is not to move this nut. That's the locking nut that holds everything in. So you notice we have two West Virginia socket sets here, and one goes back here to hold this. You don't want to turn the inner tie rod, right? This light situation is not working out. You don't want to turn the inner tie rod. So what you want to end up doing, you want to hold that from turning, then you break this nut loose by holding that. At that point in time, you could put the wrench, you can keep that one on there. You put the wrench, jeez. We should do the next one with the head cam. The wrench on here, because it's square and you could turn it out while holding the back. So you never turn the stopping nut whatsoever. You never lose adjustment, in theory. Now, a lot of guys will just go ahead and put it back together, not check the alignment, but I know better than to do that. I know way better. So what we're gonna do before we start, we'll put a little penetrating oil on those threads, see how dry those threads are, because we want everything to turn real easy when we're doing the adjustments on it. Now, what we're gonna do with the tape measure, we can actually do it up on the lift above our head. We can show you guys real clearly what to do. Okay, so what we're gonna do here, grab our new tie rod. Make sure this damn thing's, is this even recording? It is recording. How about that? Okay, got our new tie rod here. Like I said, before we put it back on, you know, blast out a little bit of PB Blaster, and then we're essentially just going to thread it back on while holding this. Make sure you guys can see it. Just like that. So in theory, when you do it like this, if your tie rods are exactly the same length as your old ones, your alignment should never change. But you can't trust that, because there probably are a different length, just the tiniest degree, which is going to cause a lot of issues. Now, remind you of this, the steering wheel is locked straight, right? Right, there's where we're at. That's the last round. There's that. We never took the washer out. The washer is still in there. And we're gonna start it. Start our nut. I don't know if the new nut's the same size as the old nut, but looks like we're not. We'll keep that. That was the 18. Grab a 19. It is a 19. Impacts on number 1. And we might have to do, see, it's spinning, so grab our hammer. We'll just smack. You gotta smack up to get it started. And once it starts, that's about 60 foot-pounds this is set to. You want to get it tight, but don't overdo it, because you strip that nut right out. Okay, well, let me turn the cam off. Pull the other wheel off. When we get that done, we'll be back. We'll take this one off with the head cam so you guys can see exactly how we do it. Start off with this PB Blaster, 18 mil. We'll actually run that down just to, baby's turning hard all the way off in it. Run it down until it's about level with the top. That'll work. And then the last one was kind of a pain to get off. I had an air hammer with a flat adjustment to it. The camera's on. I'm always got to make sure. With the flat bit on it, And you can come in here and hit that from the side with that air hammer and knock it right out. But I can't remember what the hell I did with that damn thing. Give it a... There it is. You can feel whenever you bump it, it rockets out. Let me see if this is gonna come off now. So we're gonna have to do, it makes it spin when you knock it out. So let's just take this, tap it up once. Let's see. So that's how you do it. You can knock it back in there. There you go. Take it off like that. We'll grab our hammer, grab our nut, which is hot. We'll tap it once, rock it right out, right? Hope you guys can see that. We're gonna grab our PB blaster. We're going here. You get the other can. This is about empty. We're gonna hold this like so. Trying to tell you lefty loosey. And you gotta remember your righty tighty lefty loosey. There we go. Now, this one actually came out real easy. The other one we had to put it on here and turn it out like so. This one is not the case. Always, always, always hold that wrench on that back piece. This one, you can't tell that it's bad like this. Well, you can a little bit. But we could take the tire and go like this with it. You can see it moving in that joint. So let's go ahead and put the new one on. Real nice and easy. Is this factory? Yep. Looks as factory as the other one is. Weird. Weird, one's totally worn out, the other one's still like really good. Definitely an unnatural situation. Hard telling, somebody could have hit something. Maybe there was a pothole on the way home from work they hit every day. You know, who freaking knows? This strut's not leaking. One of the back ones were actually leaking a little bit. You see the bump stops kind of rotted out. The struts are getting pretty tired. These are pretty easy struts to take off and on. They've got the pinch bolt here. It's a pretty small strut. It looks pretty simple. That doesn't mean it will be though. There's that. Very careful. These aluminum rods. You'll strip that baby out faster than you could say I'm screwed. Right there. Bump it in. Oh, it might be hard to make stay in there. Let's see if we get her to do it. A 19 for this one. There we go. Maybe. Looks pretty good. We'll leave it at that. Give her a double check. Everything looks good. These rotors, I don't know, guys. What kind of pad is that? What is that? What the hell? What is it, Chinese? Definitely not the Brembo pads it should have, so we'll fix that. The question is whether or not to do rotors or not. There is a little bit of shimmy on the brakes, but I think it was that tie rod, to be totally honest with you. Let's clean this crap up. We're gonna put the tires back on. We'll be right back and I'll show you how to line it. We're back in business. Is the camera on? Yes, it's on. You always gotta check, because she's happened a couple times where we hit the button, but it wasn't recording. The GoPro life, right? Okay, so we're gonna do these tires have channels on them. One here, one there, and one there. Essentially, we're just gonna pick one. We're gonna measure from, let's go from right here to right here. We're 52.5 on the dot, right? Now, is there a variable if you go higher? Yes, there is. So let's try to stay the same height. Let's go to the bottom of the car. And we're gonna be at 53. A notch over 3/4. What is that? 11? I don't remember. 11 something. Not even a whole notch. Essentially 52 3/4. Right? So inside to inside stripe. Let's go back here and let's measure this one at the top of the car. I don't usually do it like this. My friend Kevin does it like this all the time. He says it works, so. And here we are 53 3/8. Right? We're at the bottom. Well, yeah. 53 3/8. Let's go up just a smidge higher to make sure we're exactly. Yeah, a little bit higher, all the way at the bottom of the car. 52 7/8. So we're out. We're out almost a ½ inch, right? So all we're gonna do here is we're gonna go here, and it's gonna be hard to get to on this car too. We could do it, no problem. We're going to thread the lock nut back a little bit, and we're going to essentially, we'll see we're wider on the back, so we're going to push the front tires out, and we just need to go a little bit. I don't like doing it this way, but on this car we're going to have to. But see, right there shows you, if we would have just put the tie rods on, it would have drove like total crap. There could be a lot of variables to it. One of the variables could have been, it could have been out before. Somebody could have aligned it to the bad tie rod. It could have just been out. The car drove pretty good. You could tell it was a little bit out, because whenever you turn real sharp in a parking lot and you let go of the wheel, it wouldn't spin back. That's a telltale sign. It could be under towed or over towed. So let's turn these just a little bit and try to get it right. So we just slid the nut back. I can only turn it like a quarter of a turn. So we did 10 back on the driver's side front and 10 down on the passenger side front. And that's moving it like this. So let's see what we got here. Let's make sure we're right as rain. So now we're 53 3/8. We should be real close, actually. Now we're 53. So let's go 3 or 4 more quarter turns, and let's see what we got there. Let's just do it on camera. The hell with it, right? This one goes back. 1, 2. Let's just do 3, and then we'll go 3 down on this one. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and make sure that it's slipping inside the boot so you're not twisting up the boot. These are slipping on the inner tie rod very well. So let's measure again. Now we're 53.5. Now we're 52 7/8, right? So let me think about this for a minute. If we need to go further out in the back, so we went too far. We need to turn them the opposite way. And you guys get what I'm doing though. You see what I'm doing? You end up at the correct distance, right? And in fact, probably do it totally correctly. Usually you do it with a car not on a lift. And you would do it right exactly on the bottom, I guess. And we're 50. Well, we can't do it though. We can't, this isn't set up like that. Okay. We'll come right across the front here. We're at 53 and just a butt crack over 53 1/8, right? Now we're 53 and pretty much exactly the same. Exactly the same. So now I have to figure out, do we want to go essentially a 1/16 of an inch towed out, right? And we probably should. I think it's only going to be about one turn, to be totally honest with you. So to go out in the front, we're going to go back. And then we're going to go down on this passenger one. Whoop. About right there. Let's take another measurement, and that's going to tell us right away. Yeah, now we're almost 53 1/4. With 53 and what? I don't know what that would be. 7/16 or something in that arrangement. And we're 53 1/8. So that's pretty much perfect. We could go a tiny bit more. If you go too much, you're going to screw yourself, right? We're probably just going to leave it there and tighten them up. So what all we got to do now is grab our other wrench here. We're just going to spin in our locking nut until it stops. Go up here and lock this one. Okay. The same thing on this one. Okay. That one's done, my friends. So, like I said, usually I don't do it like this. It's kind of not as easy. And I feel like on this, your margin for error is a little bit greater. Like on a truck, you do this, you could go through the top all the way through, like on this. Well, maybe, but your degree where you're measuring at, whether it's here or here, that matters. That'll change your measurement. That's why we pretty much went flat with the bottom of the car, because we know for a fact we're going to be pretty much on exactly on the dot. And you could do this with a car not on a lift. I mean, obviously all you guys are saying right now, yeah, but you have a lift. Yeah, the lift makes your whole world easier working on a car. You can do this on the ground, right? And like how we probably would do it on this, we measure from the front and the back. We probably go across just higher up here and then straight across right there. But what we did here is kind of the same thing. We just use the bottom of the car as a guide. So hopefully this helps you guys out. Now, is it perfect? We're gonna have to drive and see. I mean, the string I get are perfect every single time with the string. But since this car just won't do it, we'll see. We'll notice my friend Kevin. We'll see if his theory's right. He swears by it. I'm sure he's not wrong. He's like me. He does this stuff all the time. He just uses a different method than I do. That's going to be it, guys. That's the brand new Delphi tie rods on the Cayman and the front end alignment. And if it doesn't drive right, I'll tell you about it. Doesn't matter to me. So this is wrong, this sucks. At this point in time, unfortunately, I have to get aligned professionally if this doesn't work. And I'm pretty picky when it comes to driving cars. I could tell when something's out of alignment. So we'll drive it tomorrow. Tonight it's dark. That's going to be it. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. We'll see you later. Okay, so I just got the phone with Kevin. He said the only thing you got to watch out when you have it lifted up in the air and you let it down, it does change the toe a little bit. And we just measured it again. Now we measured a little bit over 53. Measured a little bit over 53 in the back when it's on the ground, and not quite 53.5 in the front. But as you let down at the lift, you can tell the tires are all crunched up from that mat. So it should be very close. We might be one turn off. So if you guys are going to do this, probably best to go drive it, come back, or at least roll it forward a little ways, come back and recheck it. But I think we're right on, or we're within a quarter of a turn on each side off.